Alright, where do we start? Okay. Theoretical B, or let's call you TB. I don't curse, so TB. Um, First thing I want to say is I do understand the whole black-white issue. I actually said something to that effect in another one of my videos. Um, I can understand how a certain group of people can have hate or bad feelings towards another group of people. And I see in some ways where atheists are treated that way, but I think the consensus among most Christians, or among some Christians, let's say some Christians, because I don't think it's most Christians, but some Christians think that because atheists hold to their own moral code, which is so individualistic, where, I mean, one person thinks that this is wrong and this is right, the other person thinks totally opposite, okay? There's no real moral code among atheists, so I can understand where a lot of Christians are coming from in not wanting maybe a atheist to be a president or this or that, because there would be no moral code to him. Or so it would seem. I understand that atheists do have moral codes. I'm not saying that atheists are without morals, so do not misquote me here. I'm saying that you have a different moral code than most people. You base right and wrong on what you feel, not, by any other means, at least to my knowledge. Um, the same way you said that Together for Peace was a minority among Christians that would get on here and just debate with you, just be calm, collected, whatever. Um, you also seem like a minority among atheists who gets on here and simply talks and enlightens Christians, or shows your view, or however you want to put it. I watched your movie, or your video, on God, Time, and Existence. It was a good video. Um, I think that you're putting physical limitations on a metaphysical God. I think that I think there's a lot entailed to everything that you said in that video, and I really am not an expert in that field. Um, but I do believe that you're putting physical limitations on a metaphysical God. So I don't know if that helps clarify anything. I don't think it probably will, but hey, I just wanted to say it. Another thing I kept running across with a lot of atheists is a lot of atheists that are saying stuff about the stoning of people in the Old Testament. The thing you gotta know is that in the Old Testament, from when Moses was given the law all the way up to when Jesus died on the cross, we were in the dispensation of the law. So that was the dispensation that we were under then. We are now under the dispensation of grace. So it's a totally different dispensation. We still take most of the stuff from the Old Testament, but we don't follow it like it was, because it is no longer required for us to follow it. At least Christians, mostly, maybe not as a whole. Um, some Jewish faiths don't believe in it because they don't believe in Jesus. Um, even when Jesus was alive, the Pharisees brought to him a woman who was caught in the act of adultery, and they were saying, that they were going to stone her, or they were asking whether they should stone her or not, or whatever. And he actually said in John 8:7, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." So that was he was kind of showing that the dispensation of grace was coming into its own right there. It was starting to manifest and unfold. Um, that's why you no longer, because I think it was the optimistic skeptic said something like, I don't get my morals from the Bible, because if so, I would be stoning my children if they didn't obey me, or something like that. We're no longer under that dispensation. We are now under the dispensation of grace. So that's a big thing I just kind of wanted to clear up. Um, I don't know. I really feel like a lot of the atheists on here are. Well, I'm starting to see the group of atheists who aren't as headstrong, and I don't mean that in a way where they're faulty or they don't know what they believe, but where they're not as in your face, you know what I mean? And where they're always, you know, but where they can just talk, and that's kind of nice to know that you guys are out there. So, any comments, questions, suggestions, go ahead and give me a shout.